The third definition of monopoly is the legal institutional definition. Lord Coke defines monopoly as a privilege, ius privilegium, granted by the king, that is, the state. At the time, the king embodied the state. A privilege granted by the state for the exclusive sale, purchase, making, handling, or use of a certain good.
Privilegio por el cual se restringe.
A privilege by which the prior freedom of other people, other entrepreneurs, to produce, distribute, make, handle, and freely exchange that good is, to a greater or a lesser extent, restricted, prevented, hindered, or totally prohibited. In other words, the legal institutional definition of monopoly is the correct definition of monopoly. It refers to those privileges the state grants, thus blocking free access to entrepreneurship in certain areas of the social process, which are reserved exclusively for the privileged. In a free economy, one in which the state does not intervene, there are no monopolies in the legal institutional sense, because there is free access to the exercise of entrepreneurship in all areas of society. Therefore, monopolies rise wholly and exclusively as a result of the activity of the state, which, for example, establishes a monopoly on postal services, or in the past in Spain, the CAMPSA monopoly. Do you know what CAMPSA stands for? Compañía Arrendataria del Monopolio de Petróleos Sociedad Anónima, Company for the Leasing of the Oil Monopoly. I have given this example because monopoly actually appears in the name. We are talking about a deep-rooted tradition, since one of the state's main sources of financing was to establish a monopoly, for example on salt mines, or a monopoly on cinnabar mines. With this, they barred free access. The monopoly on trade with the Indies is another example. Also, who holds the monopoly on railroad transportation in Spain? Renfe. And why? And does the competition court go after Renfe? No, it does not. The competition court only goes after honest private competitors. And the true monopolists? As might be expected, they are left alone. And until not long ago, the Compañía Telefónica Nacional de España held a monopoly on telephone service by law. Who has the monopoly on law enforcement? The police. When free access to entrepreneurship is blocked in any area, the entrepreneurial creativity for solving problems is also blocked. And that is why state-created monopolies are so inefficient in dynamic terms. They provide very poor services at a very high cost. And that is consumer exploitation. All efforts should be focused there, to open up the free exercise of entrepreneurial competitiveness, those areas reserved by law for a privileged few. Now we come to the fourth definition of monopoly, according to which monopoly exists when someone achieves a monopoly price. A monopoly price is achieved by restricting production, in the hope that the decrease in sales will be less than proportional to the increase in price. Therefore, in terms of total revenue, the supposed monopolist comes out ahead. And I repeat, mathematical economists define this by saying that the demand curve is inelastic, as if they were talking about a mattress, elastic or inelastic. They also compare the monopoly price with a lower price they suppose would exist under perfect competition. This fourth definition makes no sense, because it involves comparing the monopoly price with a competitive reference price, and that competitive reference price does not exist. We cannot imagine what it would be. We can only leave it to the free exercise of entrepreneurship and creativity in a dynamic environment, in which new products are offered at different and variable prices. To theorize, to think, what would the perfect competition price be, is only possible in the perverse minds of mathematical economists. In real life, if such thoughts led to forcing an entrepreneur like Bill Gates to divide his company into 20 companies, we have already seen that neoclassical economists are quite unconcerned about it. though it means the price will be much higher than the one we are paying now. Again, in the market, there are not two types of prices: competitive prices and monopoly prices. There are free market prices, when free access to entrepreneurship exists in all areas, and monopoly prices, which result from state-granted privileges that, to a greater or a lesser extent, favor a small group of people, to the detriment of everyone else. If the state stopped intervening in the economy, the problem of monopoly would disappear. Therefore, it is unnecessary. And in fact, there is no greater hypocrisy than to maintain an entire web of competition legislation based on the incorrect paradigm of mathematical economics, and to go after true competitors and poor entrepreneurs while screaming blue murder and saying, "Thank goodness we're here, the public authorities, to defend competition," and completely disregarding or forgetting or overlooking the true monopolies, the ones that actually harm consumers. These monopolies consist of the privileges the state itself grants, thus hindering access to the free exercise of entrepreneurship.